You've all heard amazing, wonderful, positive things about the Neighborhood Slow Streets program. I've literally never heard someone say something bad about it. That doesn't happen in city stuff. People love this program. The biggest problem with this program is that we all want more of it. So we wanted them to tell you the story about how they get it done. Ladies, welcome.
And we're here today to talk to you about Neighborhood Slow Streets, which is part of our Vision Zero program.
Vision Zero is a priority in the city of Boston because it is so personal. So many people in the city, including Mayor Walsh, have felt the impacts of traffic violence on their lives. And so we are working really hard to bring down the number of fatalities and traffic crashes that result in injuries to zero by 2030.
So we're working at various scales on large streets like Mass Ave, which was a Vision Zero priority corridor, and on local streets like Southern Ave in Dorchester, which is part of the TNT community.
Commissioner Fiandaca tasked us with not only creating a program that would improve safety, but one that would bring a lot of quality of life benefits to the residents of Boston.
And we know that everyone deserves better streets.
And almost everyone wants them.
And so we've been charged by the commissioner to develop a program that helps to deliver better streets to the people of Boston.
So you may be in your house or your apartment or wherever you live and notice maybe some droppings, some of the food in your kitchen is going away, you might hear some squeaking or some sounds in the walls, and you might be concerned that there's a mouse or perhaps several of them in your house. And you'll spend a lot of time trying to figure that out and get that mouse to leave. But you may miss the fact that there are a whole bunch of termites down in your basement who are eating your foundation. And so you will be perhaps mouse-free, but you will also be house-free. That's a good joke. Came up with it right here. Here's an example here in Boston of what happens if you only pay attention to those issues that you hear about. With 311 requests for sidewalk repair, we can see that a lot of them are concentrated in a very specific area of the city that you might also associate with wealth and whiteness. However, when we do a more objective analysis of our sidewalk conditions, the needs are greater in other parts of the city than in that specific area. So we know that if you only listen to those issues, you're going to miss those more pressing needs that happen. Naja.
Yes.
You're a smart lady.
Very smart.
It's true. So you know how to bend space and time.
I can fold this skirt, but other than that, not quite yet.
Well, that really stinks for us because we have to start somewhere. And so to start somewhere, that means we have to prioritize those places that need it the most and the people who are most willing to collaborate with us on bringing results fast. And when we work with communities, there are a few approaches. This says two, but I think there are probably more. One is, should be like our friend Bob, who likes to go to communities and tell them what is best for them and then make it happen no matter what. You get kicked out of your house? I don't care. I'm building a highway. That's our friend Bob. Unfortunately, this isn't the way that we do business, perhaps for some people. However, I think for the majority of people, it's really great that instead we spend more time listening to the people of Boston. We ask them, please invite us to your meetings. We want to hear from you. We want to know what your challenges are. And we definitely want to eat that cake that whoever in TNT makes that cake, that is amazing cake. You should go to their meetings and eat their cake. So we like to work with our communities. And that's why our process begins with an application. We ask communities to self-nominate themselves to be part of this process. That means they're involved at the very beginning, they are engaged every step of the way, they know what's going to come, and they're ready and happy to work with us. Sometimes less happy than other times.
We are well aware of the fact that some communities have been organizing for decades and are ready and prepared to put together ginormous application packets. Other communities may have organized in the last year. And so we need to be cognizant of that and be respectful of that in our application process.
So we maintain a low barrier to entry to this program. We asked for 4 things. That's it, just 4 things. You may be confused because it's a very large pile of papers. We only asked for 4 things. 1,
the contact info.
2,
a map.
3,
A list of concerns.
And 4.
A show of community support.
That's it, just 4 things. That's all we want from everyone before they can participate in this program. We take it from there. And by we, I mean Naja. We were also charged by our commissioner to come up with a process that was really intentionally focused on those people who are the most vulnerable and those places that needed them most. And so Naja, spent a lot of time looking at data and creating maps. And some of the things that we mapped were
where children and older adults are, because they are our most vulnerable people, where people are walking and biking because those are vulnerable mode choices, where there are schools, parks, community centers where people might be walking or biking to and from, and also where we have a history of crashes, because we understand that in those places, that's probably where the most need is.
Right. And we told people this ahead of time, that this is how we were going to select communities. If you meet these kinds of criteria, you're likely to be selected. And we followed through on that promise. We did all of that work. Naja, did all of that work. And then we posted the full methodology online. Lots of beautiful maps, lots of beautiful graphs. You can find out information about so many neighbors in the city because of this process. We also created score sheets for all 47 neighborhoods that applied, so they would know what kind of information we were looking at, how we evaluated it, and how they stack up against other communities in Boston, so they have a sense of where they might be in terms of their need.
We also have been working with a large team to make this process go from just an idea into the ground. So it starts with the community, the people of Boston. We work with our leaders to really develop a vision. We work with the people who've been elected to our council,
Right.
the people who work with our constituents every day, the people who manage our money,
And that guy is way back here.
the people who design and engineer the plans for our streets, and the people who build them.
Right, and together we have made a lot of progress. We've tripled the number of speed humps in the city of Boston in a very short period of time. I guess shout out to whoever managed to get those 3 speed humps on Elliott Street and JP sometime in the 90s. That's where this started. And that's where we are today. 2 years ago, we didn't have any neighborhood slow streets program. We didn't have a process for responding to traffic calming requests. We moved into 2 pilot communities that are now in construction. We have 5 more who are beginning in planning, and we're inviting more to join us in 2018 when we release our application process again.
Bye.